The Miami Heat lose 111-99 tonight at the Kaseya Center against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Max Strus returned to Miami after leaving the Miami Heat after 3 seasons to sign with the Cavs. Tough loss for the Miami Heat tonight. Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir. Before I get into the recap of this game, just want to thank everybody for their continued support of my channel. I hit my goal of 400 subscribers, so thank you so much for the support. My new goal, obviously, now is to get to 500 subscribers, so if you could hit subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. So thank you again for the support. So the Heat got their butts whooped tonight. This game was an up and down game, a bipolar game, an inconsistent game. So typically, the way the Miami Heat have been playing throughout the year is inconsistent basketball, and they're inconsistent on both ends of the floor tonight, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. The Heat didn't look great tonight, even when they were in the lead in the first half, and the Heat were up, but they had trouble starting off, and they started off very slow. Them and the Cavs both barely scored any points in the first 6 minutes. They scored like 18 points combined or 20 points combined. And so it was a super slow start, but the Heat were able to play pretty well in the first quarter. Kevin Love came in early in that quarter and was effective off the glass. He had 5 quick rebounds to start the game, and he had some good full court passes like he typically does every single time he plays. And the Miami Heat were able to go on a 10-0 run in that first quarter thanks to Kevin Love, and they were able to take an 18-12 point lead. And the Heat then went on a 13-0 run in the quarter to take a 21-12 lead, which was great. Hawkes came in later in the first quarter and had a few good plays. He had a nice basket. He dribbled the ball on the right-hand side and got to the basket, took some body contact, and made like a one-handed jump shot to give the Heat a 23-12 lead. So the Heat ultimately went on a 15-0 run in that first quarter to give them a 25-17 lead going into the second quarter. And what was impressive early on was that the Heat had held teams in 3 quarters in a row to 17 points or under, dating back to the last game against the Pacers when they were able to win that game. So good start, only allowing the Cavs 17 points, which was pretty good. Donovan Mitchell was back. He didn't play the Heat the first time they lost a few weeks ago when they lost by 33. He's a really good player, really good scorer, and hoping the Miami Heat can eventually trade for him when he doesn't sign his extension next season with the Cavs. So he played really well tonight, and that first quarter, was up and down, but the Heat went on that nice run to take that 8-point lead into the second quarter. In the second quarter, Jay Rich and Orlando Robinson got loose a little bit. Jay Rich was doing really well in the first half. He came in hitting some threes for the Miami Heat, specifically in that quarter. He hit I think it was his 3rd three-pointer of the game. And there's one sequence that was really impressive, including or involving Orlando Robinson, the Miami Heat's backup center, starting center now, while Bam Adebayo has been hurt with the hip injury. And Orlando had this really awesome sequence where he got a rebound and he brought the ball up court, and he was able to pass to Caleb Martin on a backdoor cut, and he had an up and under layup, which was beautiful. Then the next play, Orlando gets a block on Jared Allen under the basket, brings the ball up, passes it to Jaime Jaquez, gets the hockey assist to Caleb Martin in the corner for a three. And then the next possession after that, he also gets another assist to Jay Rich on the elbow, and he makes a three-pointer. So that was huge. That helped the Heat go up by 16, their largest lead of the game. They're up 39-23. Then the Cavs came back. The story of the game was that the Cavs then went on their own 15-0 run, and they ended up going into the half up by 1 point, which was huge for them. Huge comeback, especially after the Heat took that 16-point lead. They went on that 16, they went on that was just a 15-0 run. In the third quarter, the Heat came out flat and they had multiple turnovers to start the game in the second half, and the Cavs took advantage with points off turnovers, and they were up 61-52. Another turnover by the Heat on the next possession led to another score, and the Cavs went on a 13-0 run to take a 66-52 lead, which was horrible. Just horrible start. Eventually, it was a 16-1 run, which changed the entire game. So basically, the Miami Heat lost at the beginning of the third quarter when the Cavs went on that 16-1 run. The Heat were outclassed in that quarter. Our defense was non-existent. Our offense was stagnant and inefficient, and we couldn't get anybody really to create opportunities for any other players or get to the paint. Honestly, I know Jared Allen is a really good rim protector, and it just sucks because Mobley wasn't there, who's also a really good rim protector. And the Miami Heat just weren't able to score any buckets, especially in the second half. The Heat did okay in the fourth quarter, but it was too late by that point. The whole game swung in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, the Heat were down by double digits. They made a little comeback towards the end, but it wasn't enough. And the Heat ultimately lost tonight to the Cavs. Some of the reasons why they lost, I think one of the big reasons was turnovers. So let's see, the Miami Heat had 18 turnovers. I think they had like 6 or 7 of those in the third quarter alone, which helped lead the Cavs to go on that 16-1 run. Rebounds were the other reason. So the Heat just weren't able to get enough rebounds on the defensive end, and the Cavs kept getting timely offensive rebounds and second chance and third chance opportunities, which led to extra baskets that they earned. So the Heat had 37 rebounds and 7 offensive for them, but the Cavs had 51 rebounds, 12 offensive. So I think those were the two biggest factors and reasons why we lost. Like, just not taking care of the basketball, not being smart with it. Turning the ball over that many times is going to be detrimental to any team. Rebounding, obviously, rebounds. What did Pat Riley say? Yeah, rebounds equal rings. So not being able to get those defensive rebounds really hurt the Heat. Free throws, we were fouling a lot more. We got to the line 15 times. They got 26 free throws. We both shot like shit. They shot 65%. We shot 67%. The thing that hurts is the Miami made 15 3-pointers and lost, and that's the most amount of threes that they've made in a losing effort. When they beat the Cavs by 33 a few weeks ago, they made 20 3-pointers and dominated. So the fact that they made 15 and lost is not a good sign. There have been a few games this season where the Heat have shot like 38%, 39%, 44% and have lost from 3, that is. And that's just embarrassing and not acceptable, honestly. But yeah, the Heat shot 15 for 42, 36%, not bad. Cavs were 14 for 38 from three, 37%. Both didn't shoot the best in terms of field goal percentage, but not bad. 43%, they were 46. So let's look at the rest of the Miami Heat players real quick. So Jimmy Butler didn't play that great. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Jimmy had a lot of trouble getting to the paint, and that could be because of Jared Allen. He was definitely a factor. So he was unable to get to the rim. He was shooting flat. He was shooting with no accuracy over smaller defenders. Usually he likes to switch on to a smaller defender, like a Darius Garland, even a Donovan Mitchell, who's only like 6'3", 6'4". But he wasn't able to capitalize over those smaller defenders, and he was very flat. His shot was short. He didn't get much lift as well. And that typically happens when Jimmy has issues with either his ankles or knees. And I know he's not really hurt. So he was just flat and didn't have that lift and wasn't efficient. He was 5 for 15 from the field. Got most of his buckets and points from the free throw line. He was 6 for 7. Caleb Martin, not a bad game. 15 points, 6 boards, 4 rebounds. He's continuing to show that he is a valuable asset to this team. He was 6 for 15, 3 for 8 from 3, a couple blocks. And yeah, it's good to see that he had another good game tonight, starting in place for Haywood Highsmith. Kyle Lowry with a turnaround game, I guess, from the last game where he was non-existent. He had 17 points, 2 boards, 5 assists, 6 for 13 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3. He had 2 steals, 3 turnovers. Duncan Robinson was a no-show tonight. He had his literally worst game of the season. The last game, he had his best game of the season against the Raptors, maybe of his career, honestly, all-around type of game, and just was horrible tonight. He had 1.1 assist, 0 for 7, 0 for 6 from 3, and 6 turnovers, which was, again, a season high. So Duncan has been one of our most important players, especially while Herro's been out as a starter, has been averaging like 18 points a game and has been crushing it, 44% from 3. And he just had his worst game of the season, so that's not going to help the Heat in any way, especially we're shorthanded. I know the Cavs are shorthanded without Mobley and without Levert, but we were without Bam, Herro, and Haywood Highsmith. But still, unfortunate to see. Orlando Robinson played well, 5 points, 8 boards, 3 assists. He was only 2 for 3, so didn't take too many shots today. He had 1 block as well, so he did good enough. He only played 20 minutes. Hawkes, kind of a quiet 14 points. He continues to impress as a rookie off the bench. He's getting 30-plus minutes every game. He's playing the entire fourth quarter, so Spo has trust and faith, and he did okay. I mean, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 for 13, 0 for 2 from 3, had 1 block, but he did have 3 turnovers. And so he's making a lot of bad decisions, rookie decisions, like just some cross-court passes that have been intercepted or getting caught up in the air, picking up his dribble and, throwing balls that are intercepted. So he did that a few times against the Raptors. He did it tonight again. But it was pretty quiet. I didn't realize he even scored 14 points. I thought he had like 6 or 7 based on the game that I watched. Jay Rich played really well in the first half, but disappeared in the second. But either way, he's been playing really well after a slow start, coming back from injury to start the season. He played 31 minutes, 17 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 6 for 11, 5 for 7 from 3. He hit those 5 like all in the first half. So good early start. Happy to see, though, that he is progressing. I mean, right now we're just missing our star power and our firepower, which is Bam and Tyler. So if these guys play this consistent, we are a very deep team. We have a bunch of players that are capable and good defenders that can hit some open shots. And we're just missing our stars right now. So I'm not too worried It's a frustrating loss, but I'm not worried. We don't have Bam, our arguably best all-around, most important player, and then our best scorer in Tyler Herro. So we definitely need those guys back. Kevin Love, 28 minutes. He played really well. 14 points, 12 boards, 3 assists, 4 for 8 from 3, a block and a steal. So he did really good again, like I mentioned in the first quarter, with defensive rebounding, his passing, and getting us on the fast break, which was huge. So a ton of guys scored. I mean, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 6 guys in double figures. So Jimmy Butler just, shit the bed tonight and didn't step up. 16 points is not enough. When we don't have Bam, we don't have Tyler. He needs to step up. He needs to be more aggressive. He needs to take more than 15 shots. I think he needs to take, in a game like this, he needs to be a little more aggressive. He has to be a little more efficient. It just seemed like he didn't really care tonight. So frustrating loss for the Heat. The Heat have 5 out of their next, or 4 out of their next 5 games at home. So this was their first game back home in a long time. They played 13 games on the road so far this season, which is the most in the NBA, and they're 7-6, which is good. Good record for playing that many on the road this early. So happy with that stat right there. But they're going to be playing against the Hornets on Monday on the road in Charlotte, and they're going to play them back-to-back, not back-to-back nights, but back-to-back games. They're going to be playing them Wednesday in the Kaseya Center, so that's going to be another home game, and I'll be at that game, which I'm pretty stoked about. So get to see the boys live in action. Can't wait for that. And then after that on Friday, they're going to be playing, or Thursday, they're going to be playing the Bulls at home, and then they're going to be playing them again on the weekend. So those 4 games are going to be against 2 teams, and it's kind of hard to beat teams when you play them 2 times in a row. But they're both sub 500 teams. They're both trash. Right now, the Hornets don't have LaMelo, so their best player is not playing. So no excuse there. Should win both games on the road and at home. And the Bulls are a dumpster fire, and they're going to have a fire sale soon. And Zach LaVine's out for like 3 more weeks, so he's not even playing. So I think the Bulls have gone on like a little streak. I don't know if they won tonight or not, but they have won 3 games in a row. So DeMar DeRozan's playing pretty good. He could be a potential Miami Heat trade candidate. We'll see. Not sure he's worth a lot of our assets, but we'll see. We'll see how we do and see how he does against us next week. So those 4 games are some games that we should win and put us back on track for the season. So let's see. What is the Miami Heat's record? The Miami Heat are 12-10 now after the loss, and we are now the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. So the Nets actually are ahead of us by half a game. They're 12-9. So the Eastern Conference is super close. Like I mentioned before in the past video, the Heat, at one point they were like 4 games from first place, and they were 2 games from the 12th seed. So, or 4 games, from the 12th seed. So, yeah, it looks like the East is really close right now. I mean, the Celtics are 16-5. The Heat are 12-10. So 4.5 games or so ahead of the Heat. So it's really close from top to bottom this year. So anyway, that's all I have for tonight. Disappointing loss from the Heat. So they better win against the Hornets because they're trash. Saw them live against the Wizards in person and wasn't impressed, and they had LaMelo. So they don't have LaMelo. We better win, and I expect them to win. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.